Wonderful work from Neymar. This skips away from one challenge. He's going to be pulled down by the defence. Skins the midfielder in front of him too.
Room here for Neymar, who's onside, and Neymar! Oh yes! That is a gorgeous goal from Neymar.
Dive into the roller coaster life of Neymar, where high stakes, big bucks, and intense drama meet. From his poker prowess to his gaming addiction, and even some near-death experiences, Neymar's journey is more than just about football. It's a wild ride full of unexpected twists and turns. Buckle up. Here's something about Neymar you might not know. After landing a massive $200 million transfer, the biggest ever in football, this guy is thinking about hanging up his boots. Why? Because of his killer poker skills. While he's been scoring big deals in football, Neymar's been quietly crushing it at the casino. He's so good at poker, he's actually considering going pro. Yep, you heard that right. Neymar's not just making a fortune on the field, he's also raking in serious cash with just a deck of cards. And get this, he's so into poker, he even named his dog Poker. Seems like Neymar's got a real knack for this game, and who knows, maybe we'll see him at the World Series of Poker instead of the World Cup in the future. Okay, so check this out about Neymar. Back in the 2014 World Cup, he wasn't just playing for Brazil, he wanted to make a statement. It's Brazil versus Cameroon, and the crowd's itching for some action. Neymar delivers big time, not with one but 2 goals. But it's Neymar, right? He's got to add some flair. So, at halftime, he goes all out to grab everyone's attention. How? By showing off his undies. Yep, right in front of the cameras, he flashes them, and bam, it's all over social media. But here's where it gets tricky. That little underwear show lands Neymar in hot water. Turns out, showing off those particular undies was a big no-no. So big, in fact, that he ends up under investigation for an underwear violation. And it's not his first time stirring things up like this. The result? A hefty $125,000 fine. Classic Neymar, always bringing some drama to the game. So here's a crazy bit about Neymar. Growing up tough, he hit the jackpot by going pro with Santos. They set him up with deals and even moved his family out of a rough spot. Neymar's killing it at Santos, but secretly he's eyeing Barcelona. In 2013, boom, he makes the big move to Barca. Sounds like a dream, right? But there's a twist. Santos starts feeling played. They think Barca's been sneaky, pulling Neymar away. After the transfer, Santos calls FIFA, and they start digging. Turns out, on paper, Neymar's transfer was $19 million, but there was an under-the-table deal. Barca had slipped an extra $65 million to Neymar's family. Santos is fuming, feeling ripped off. Suddenly, Neymar and his dad are staring down a possible 6 years deal. What looked like a sweet multi-million-dollar deal is now looking more like bail money. Talk about a transfer turning into a total drama. Neymar's got this thing that's been messing with his career, and it's not what you'd expect. He's hooked on gaming big time. Yeah, the dude's a football star and a role model to millions, but he's been swapping the pitch for a gaming chair. He's deep into Call of Duty and CS:GO, streaming on Twitch and getting crazy views. We're talking millions. But here's where it gets wild. This gaming craze is taking over his life. Neymar's dropping serious cash on game skins, like 40K worth. And it's not just about money, his health's taking a hit too. When it was time for the 2018 Ballon d'Or, a huge deal in football, Neymar was MIA. Instead, he's caught on camera playing COD. Twitter found it funny, but it's kind of worrying. All that sitting and gaming is not doing him any good, and it shows. Lately, Neymar's been picking up injuries like nobody's business. It's a real twist for a top player like him. Check out this wild story from Neymar's past. Growing up, his family was barely scraping by, talking about tough times with hardly enough for basic stuff like water and electricity. One day, Neymar's dad gives him the cash to pay the electric bill, a big responsibility for a young Neymar. But here's where Neymar gets a bit wild. On his way to pay the bill, he spots this raffle to win his dream car. Neymar can't resist. He buys a ticket, dreaming of cruising around in his new ride. That night, he's all excited, hardly sleeping, thinking about that car. But reality hits hard the next morning. Neymar wakes up to his dad fuming and the electric company shutting off their power. Oops, big mistake. But hey, eventually his dad cools off and they get through it. Just a crazy little glimpse into Neymar's life before he hit the big time. On January 26, 2020, something happened that hit Neymar hard. PSG was up against Lille, and Neymar was on fire, leading his team with that Mamba mentality. They're up 1-0 at halftime, and Neymar's feeling good. But then, in the locker room, he checks his phone and breaks down. Turns out, Neymar and Kobe Bryant were tight, like brothers. They hung out, played sports together, even swapped jerseys. So when Neymar found out Kobe had passed away, he was shattered. Still, he had a game to finish. Second half, he's on a mission, gets a penalty kick and nails it. He dedicates that goal to number 24, Kobe. After the match, Neymar makes it even more personal. He gets a tattoo of his favorite Kobe quote, keeping his memory alive. It's a moment that shows how deep their bond was and how sports can bring people together in unexpected ways. So, get this. Neymar went through some rough times, especially after a big transfer that put crazy pressure on him. He was struggling on the field and even breaking down in front of his teammates. But then, he teamed up with a legendary player who knew all about living in the spotlight. This guy, an all-time great, had been there, done that. Neymar was really down, like crying in the locker room level of down. He couldn't get his groove back. But this legend steps in and gives him some solid advice. He's like, man, just be the guy you were back at Santos. I got your back. That talk was a game changer for Neymar. It lifted him up, and soon he's shining brighter than ever on the pitch. It's a classic story of a mentor stepping in just when needed, showing how important support and encouragement are, especially in the tough world of pro sports. Here's a chilling story about Neymar when he was just a baby. He was only 4 months old, on a family trip up the mountains to see relatives, when they got caught in a nasty storm. It was so wild, they couldn't see a thing. During this chaos, Neymar's dad hurt his hip badly. But that wasn't the worst part. Suddenly, they realized baby Neymar was missing. Panic mode on, his dad searched frantically inside and outside the car. Then they heard a cry. It was Neymar, trapped under the driver's seat, covered in blood. They called an ambulance in a flash and rushed him to the hospital. Imagine facing such a terrifying moment at just 4 months old. Neymar's brush with death so early in life is just mind-blowing. It's one of those incredible stories that show how unpredictable life can be, even for future superstars. So, this one time, Neymar was in the middle of a super tense PSG versus Lion game. It's extra time, and Neymar's all about firing up his team. Then Thiago Mendes trips Neymar, and it looks bad. Everyone's thinking Neymar's just faking it big time, like James Harden-level acting. But it gets serious when Neymar is stretchered off the field. Social media blew up. People thought Thiago did it on purpose and targeted PSG's star player. But here's the crazy part. Some fans took it way too far. They started sending threats to Thiago's girlfriend, saying really scary stuff, like they'd make her pay for what Thiago did. It was intense, and Thiago's family was freaking out. Luckily, turns out Neymar's injury wasn't as bad as it looked. Thiago was off the hook. But man, that whole ordeal was a wild ride, and a reminder of how heated things can get in the world of football. In the 2014 World Cup, Sony had this huge deal as the official headphones of football, worth $280 million. FIFA was strict, no other brands allowed. Sony even handed out free headphones to all the teams. But players quickly figured out these headphones weren't great. The word spread fast. Sony's headphones were a flop. Enter Neymar, who's never one to shy away from the limelight. Just weeks after copping a hefty fine, Neymar decides to shake things up even more. He teams up with Beats by Dre, shoots a commercial, and drops it during the World Cup. The ad explodes, racking up over 34 million views. Neymar's move was a huge blow to Sony. It was so big that after the whole Beats versus Sony showdown, Sony's stock value plummeted by $1.7 billion. Just like that, Neymar's decision rocked the corporate world, showing how influential a top football player can be. And there you have it. Neymar's life is like a blockbuster movie filled with ups, downs, and everything in between. From gaming obsessions to career-defining moments, his story is a reminder that even football legends have their own unique battles and triumphs. Neymar's journey is truly one for the books. So that brings us to the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed watching it. If you did, then consider pressing the like button. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos like these. Check out our other video that you see now. We will see you next time.